Hey, what's up, YouTube? Kenny here, and today we're going to talk about two things that are near and dear to my heart. Well, not really, not the first. The first, S&P 500, we're going to talk about if this bounce, this wicked bounce, if you will, is going to hold. And the second is AMD, which is near and dear to my heart because it's one of our largest positions in both our investment portfolio and our trading account. We do have a sizable position in both accounts right now, so just obviously watching it through earnings and trying to take a gander whether or not we can trust this market to give AMD the credit that it indeed deserves. So we're going to go ahead and talk about those two things really quickly. If you're new to this channel, though, oh, that's the wrong one. If you're new to this channel, we do everything in one take, which is why that was messed up right there. But the second thing is, analytics firm that uses a lot of quantitative analysis, X special operations, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's go. S&P 500. So as you can see here, this is the daily chart, and you see we are still under two very significant lines, the 50 and the 200 for me. Very, very kind of silly moment right here for the S&P 500 because, you know, we touched some key critical spots. So this indeed broke the 410 line that everybody was looking at. So this is indeed what we would call undercut. So we've seen undercut here once and twice. So it's not unusual. It's essentially, you know, the funds letting things kind of unravel and then getting their positions. That said, really what you should be watching here, because I do still think that there's a peel coming, is the VIX. So if you're asking me what actually happened, VIX 36 is pretty significant in terms of like what the VIX is doing and how it's performing. There may indeed, and I think there is, because if you look at 2022, this block is 2022. So if you kind of dismiss there and renegotiate what the VIX structure should look like for 2022, and you probably do predictive modeling to the front instead of using in-sample data back here, all that to mean is the VIX is behaving very different this year. It's doing this stuff, which means right now 36 has been a very key spot. So I think algorithms triggered very, very instantly once we hit 36. So I don't know that this sticks, and I don't even know if the funds are staying in there, but I do know that there was a trade on. And obviously there's a ton of short pressure right now and a lot of puts from the institution. So obviously there's like a lot of covering. But I'm sure they'll come in tomorrow, and, you know, if the rally doesn't stick, they will go ahead and blast away and try to get this bad boy up to 38. So indeed, tomorrow is going to be very interesting. What you want to watch for is this VIX rating. And if you don't know what the VIX is, it's a volatility index. It's basically against the S&P 500, just showing how volatile it is against options contracts, really. It might be a stale or dated indicator, but it works. And sometimes, you know, maybe not structurally the way it used to, but it still works. But anyways, what I'm saying is right now we have a VIX reading of 32. We're going to want to see it. I'm not saying we're going to want to see it, but I'd be watching for it to increase and encroach back to 36. Watch that 36 line. It's really important. That said, if we come in tomorrow and we flush and get right down to 25, which is historically the number that you should be watching, then that'd be very interesting to me too. That would look like a relief rally. If we punch back down past 25, it's pretty simple. That rally is probably going to stick, but I don't expect that to happen until mid to late July, and obviously that's just palm reading, so don't take that, or take that with a grain of salt, rather. All right, so I want to talk about some cool things before we talk about AMD. The first thing is these are the U.S. largest tech firms, and as you can see here, everybody's getting blasted. Negative 50%, that's Netflix. That's just this year, right? March 22 to April 22 year. So, I mean, like, not even this year. This month is what I'm saying. Ridiculous drawdowns. And if you think, you know, AMD got hit hard, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA got absolutely blasted as well, greater than 30% drawdown. Obviously, we did knew it was trading very high and as a media darling. A lot of the funds were crowded into that trade for sure. And obviously, they deleveraged a ton of their positions, and that was one of them that they definitely had to kind of let go of. That said, if you're wondering, hey, where do I hide or where do I find alpha right now? This is a chart that, you know, we typically put together. We go through this and we do different things. We have different sentiment ones too, but I mean, it takes a lot of time, and it's just me and like one other dude. So we don't get to, you know, pull it out as fast as we can. So sometimes we just find cool charts like this and we borrow them. But here you can see essentially like on a multi-factor level. So all these are factors, right? So multiplicative factors, like which ones are the ones that are creating the most beta? So, or alpha rather, alpha meaning profit. So if you said like, and it's bad because none of these are positive correlators, right? Like the market's so down that none of these are positive. But in a positive or a bull market, that's what you literally do. You say, okay, dividend aristocrats and ones with low volatility are the ones that are performing the best, right? So these are defensive names right now, but you would want to overweight these kind of two kind of cross sections. Like this is multivariable, right? So dividends plus vol, and I would search for stocks that have those two kind of X and Y axes, and I would say, hey, let's find those. But right now, man, nothing is safe, so it really doesn't matter. The only thing you need to do is stay away from high growth and high beta. And stay away from the S&P 500 in en masse, right? So anyways, that's just kind of some thoughts. Obviously, energy is outperforming, and that's not captured here. But, I mean, that's sector. This is by factor. So thinking about factors that cause momentum. And momentum is here right now. So momentum stock's not performing very well. Yeah. But if you're wondering, and obviously NASDAQ 100 here, AMD is part of the NASDAQ. So this is showing stocks above the 200 daily moving average. But here's the thing, right? Like this is the 20% line, right? Those that are underneath. So only 20% left that are not. So you can see here, print, 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 print. And they all correlate with some kind of up movement. But I know we're saying that, right? But, I mean, it's not like 100% V. As you can see here, if you came in here, you still got blasted down another probably 15% before the up move. So, I mean, there's still definitely downside. But, again, as Fund Strats Tom Lee says, you probably can't get hurt buying here, like if you're a long-term investor. So, if you're a trader, man, if you're a good trader, rather, this is your time to shine. This is your moment for sure, your moment in the sun. All right, AMD, what to expect and what I'm thinking about when it comes to earnings. So, you know, when you think about AMD, you think about the M&A that they did. You know, they got Xilinx on, and then right after, I don't want to say out of nowhere because Lisa's always got stuff in the chamber. They come up with this Pensando kind of arrangement, right? And so they pick up Pensando, thinking about specificity and compute, especially on the kind of the edge and stuff like that. Being hyper efficient with some of the new ways in which they create efficiencies within their chipsets, right? So that's one. Okay. So the second thing is, though, you know, there's kind of two sectors that you really want to watch for when it comes to AMD. The first is enterprise and embedded, right? This is the semi-custom segment. That's the one that has the servers and all those other things, right? They're selling those servers and that processing to Meta and all these other corporations, right? That's their kind of like Italy series of servers and stuff. You know, that's the thing that's in what I would call hypergrowth right now, and it was early stage. We might be early middle stage now, but I mean, we've been saying it was early stage for the last like half year. But I still think that it's something that can outperform and kind of look to exceed the current highest kind of profit revenue-wise, which is processors, desktops, and laptops, right? So, I mean, this is growing rapidly. It's been growing for the last year. But I will say, and I kind of pulled this from Investors Place, but not Investors Place, Investopedia. Analysts expect this rapid growth to continue, though second slowest rate in 6 quarters. Obviously, a lot of pressure. Obviously, China lockdown. Obviously, Ethereum forks. You know, all that madness leads to less GPU sales. But again, of the companies like Intel and the others, they have AMD has probably the least amount of exposure to this because you got to remember, again, they have all the chips in all the consoles, and also this is their fastest growing segment, which is the servers. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record right now, but I really want to kind of impress upon you what I'm looking at and why I'm very, very optimistic. But even without that, you know, Lisa Su always pulls rabbits out of the hat. Anyways, in the blue is AMD, and in the orange is S&P 500. So you can see here, AMD and S&P 500, they're telling the same story right now, which is bonkers because, look, AMD needs to stay up here. Like, I'm not, like, even if you say, like, this is noise, this top thing is noise. Like, come on, man. AMD plays in here. This is where AMD lives. Like, in a good day. On an average day, this is where AMD lives. When there's sentiment, it should be up here. But right now, we're living in here, and we're not even living in here. So I'm calling this gosh darn noise. That's palm reading. I have no quant to back that up, but I'm just saying that, like, think about it. Think about the way that this structure is moving. AMD is a growth stock. If it can show any kind of growth based on the amount that we've been plastered lately in terms of the stock price, I think it'll do very well. So, just kind of showing you what I was saying in chart form. Again, 2021, we pulled forward a ton of growth there because everybody bought PCs for home. Tablets weren't working. And then you can see here, 2022 forecast is basically down, right? Negative growth. But as you can see, we will ramp back up and normalize. And there will be a nice little terminal value of like 1 or 2%, it seems like right here. Compound annual growth rate over time. And this is based on shipments, though. Anyways, enough of that. Here's the one that we think that matters the most, the enterprise server market. So if you didn't know, that indeed is growing at a 12% compound annual growth rate over the forecast period. And this was forecasted back in whatever, and it's still good, though. Here's what I'm saying. You're looking at 12%, probably is going to get to more, to be honest with you. But if you say 12% year over year until 2025, it's 2022 now, and you forecast that, if you look back here, even when it was, even the pull forward rate here is 18%. This is 18% year over year. This is pull forward. So this is typically pretty average. So think about the market they are attacking. If they're attacking a market that's growing at 12% per year, total addressable market, right? Compound annual growth rate, where most folks in the semiconductor space are playing in this market, which is what, 2% year over year right now, and if I'm being generous, and obviously contraction here, I think they're going to do really well. So I'm pretty optimistic is what I'm saying. If you're wondering what the analysts are looking for, it's really interesting. So Earnings Whisper is saying 87 cents. So the consensus is 90 cents, but the street, all the whispers, like the backroom talk is like, hey, they're going to get blasted. They ain't going to do that good. So if they come in at 91 cents or something like that, boy, see you later. At least for a day. I don't know, because, gosh, this stock market is not rewarding anybody for anything. But, Lisa Sue can definitely pull this off. I think she can do it. All right? I believe in Lisa, so it's going to happen. And Devinder, I don't know if he did, but, man, hopefully he bought back a bunch of shares. If he did, that'd be great. And I'm sure they still got a ton of money back. I'm ready to buy. So, if it keeps selling down, those shares are going to be bought up. They will be bought up. So if you're wondering what the analyst trends look like, hey, they're always going up because you know what? This company's great. And so keeps going up. Hey, by the way, if you didn't know, we're very level-headed when it comes to most stocks, but when it comes to like AMD, we don't play around, boys and girls. I'm not gonna give you any bad news unless it's actually bad news. All right, so when it comes to earning estimates, you can see here of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarters, we've only missed 1 quarter here. And that quarter even saw growth because there was good guidance. Anyways, what's my point? My point is here we are looking at 7 quarters consecutive growth. You're like, Kenny, man, that's bad because look at how many quarters, there's never 7. 7's a lucky number or something. No, man, that's not how data works, okay? That's not how coin flipping works or whatever. Hey, look, here's the crazy thing. We got 7 consecutive quarters of growth, and look at this. Just look at this price. Just blast it. I'm just saying, if we get a green dot here, boys and girls, see you later. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, man. But if you want to YOLO some monies, we might have some people in the chats that have already put some YOLO money on earnings. All right, so let's finish up. My expectation. So they're gonna continue to M&A smartly. So Xilinx, Pensando. What's next? I'd love to hear something on the call that's next. That might get a star too. And I understand that, generally when you're doing M&A, it's kind of a hit to your stock price and stuff because, unless it's, and even if it is accretive. But still, I like to see this because this is growth. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay the price now, but it's fine. You're going to get the rewards later. It's going to continue to win, and you're going to continue to survive in the dominance area of the market that you are dominating. Anyways. Thrive, rather, not survive. Survive is a bad word. Okay, the second thing is expecting margin rates to slow down. Obviously, currently it's a 43% margin rate. That's like really high. It's probably gonna like softly come down to a landing. But even if it does, I do expect her, Lisa, and team to uncover and explore new market niches. Like it's in the same way that they're looking at specificity in compute with these two companies. I think that's what they're doing. So essentially, they have to recreate their own version of ARM. Like, they're not going to call it that. There's no like little label or plugin, but like, look, that's what they're doing. They're creating very boutique solutions for their clients. And if so, they can get around ever using that kind of stuff. And then they create something and eventually they'll have something, the AMD variant of that. So I think that's totally a thing. I do expect soft guidance because one, Lisa always guides soft anyways. But second, she's smart enough to know like this is your hall pass. Like, this is the time where you take that walk. Pitchers throwing crazy balls, giving you that free walk. You got to take the walk. And I don't think Lisa's, aggressive enough or no, not even aggressive enough. She is aggressive, but I don't think she's dumb enough to not take this walk smartly because she always has, and I think she still will. So I think that's really where we're at for AMD. So what do you think about my AMD predictions? Tell me I'm full of crap. Maybe. I'm palm reading just like everybody else, but it's definitely a big piece of our portfolio. And in fact, in the investment portfolio, it is a pretty silly weight, but holding it for the long term, and we'll be fine with that. But other than that, we do have a trade on, though. We do have some July calls, so we're going to need earnings to do a little bit good, but it won't break us if, we come in flat here, but we're going to need a market rally pretty soon, at least a relief rally. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye.